Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers, and playing around with the camera a little bit since it moves and I don't have to move the computer. Anyway, I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator, and I continue to pray that each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of your relations will learn to accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the wisdom of the universe. And with that, I thank you all, subscribers. I thank you all, folks in the chat. Cosmic hugs all around. You give a person who, had questions about his own faith, meaning myself, and who, through persistence with the angels, kicking my rear end, and you all. I am here and I love you all, and there is a lot of good spirit that goes between us with the Soul Tribe. And Robert V, hi there. Hello. Robert says, glad you are doing good and enjoy your discussions. Thank you. Me and the dog went into town, and we've had rainstorms around here. We had a rainstorm the other night. Was just like, it was a frog strangler, I'm telling you. Tonight has just been cooler temperatures. Got a little bit done around the house, and always thankful to the Creator for the rain, especially in August when we usually don't get any rain. But in my rummaging around with the universe and online and subjects, and listening to my spirit guide, and then I have a tendency to get what I consider angel messages. And but any message that comes from above, if you will, to me is an angel message. So it just is depends on your definition thereof of angel and message. But let's just say it was a divine download, and has to do with salvation. Now, having grown up a Catholic myself, and for those of you who have seen my earlier videos, I'm still trying stuff, so I don't like the idea of having to look down at the camera, so forgive me. But anyway, now you can halfway see my ugly bug. Lean back in my chair. So the idea of salvation, and for some reason, the yesterday and today has been sort of, there are so many people in so many ways, politically, with life issues. And man, a few years ago, I had some really bad life issues, and I thank all those who helped me through. Some of those folks helped me through, don't even know they helped me through. But anyway, the whole idea of salvation, though, is that I wouldn't be sitting up and not in a wheelchair and all that kind of stuff had I given in to my disease and my back issues and my old age. And if I'd kept taking all those medicines, who knows where I'd be now. I don't think I'd have the mobility. I know I wouldn't have the mobility that I have now, even though it's much more limited. I don't believe that I would have the mobility because I didn't have it back then. And I decided to get up out of the wheelchair, and no matter how long it took, I was going to get better. And so, still got my issues, but I'm here. And the whole point to that is nobody came in and saved me. It was my own choices and my own energy and my own willpower. And I have prayed and meditated. I have asked the angels, listen, you guys need to come down here, and you want me to, to continue on. There are things that I need to do, and I don't have any help, and either send me some help or help me get up, and I will do it myself. Give me the strength. That is one of my most common prayers, is not necessarily help me, but give me strength. So But I realize too that there are times when I have more strength on certain days than others. And, there are a lot of cosmic things about that. But anyway, the bottom line, though, about salvation, though, can Jesus save us? Can Mohammed save us? Can the Bible save us? Can the Quran save us? Can the Old Testament, you know, the the Jewish Bible, um, can Confucianism save us? Can Buddhism or Hinduism save us? No, it's the choices we make. So with any religion or any religious text, and no matter how hard the Catholics want to, punish folks and make us feel guilty for our original sin. I mean, my God, I'm born on this planet, and even in the Bible it says that Jesus died for our sins. So how can I be born with an original sin if Jesus died for my sins already? So there's been a lot of weirdness in Christianity. And if you stop and just think, not about what they told you, but about what is said, you go, wait a minute, if he died for my sins, then I don't have an original sin. Now, what the hell is all this baptism stuff? They do that to wash whatever evil may be on you so that you can join their church. It has nothing to do with whether or not you're going to be saved. Now, there's a lot of symbolism in the washing with water. And having nothing to do with religion, but a lot to do with energy. So if you wish to um, um, wash yourself of your sins and make amends with the universe, you can take tap water if you really want to, but outside in a stream or a lake or the ocean or something, washing yourself of your past and asking forgiveness, it's already done. So what you need to forgive is yourself, and you need to allow yourself to wish for a better tomorrow. So the simple thing is that I am sorry for whatever I have done up to this point. I pray and I wish to do better each day. Give me the strength to stay on the right path and to find the answers that I seek. That's that's it in a nutshell. You can go to church, you can do all you got to do is say that. As simple as that. I ask for forgiveness. You can say sins, but for whatever my wrongdoings, whether they're actually sins or written down in a book of judgment and St. Peter's going to read them back to you or something, let's just forget about all of that, because that's religious stuff. So we have to think about what is going to actually save us in the long run. And in the long run, no text will save us. Not any. I've read a lot of different texts, and I continue to read, but I've reached a particular point where it has nothing to do with the text, but I don't think the text can necessarily teach me anything more. But in reading some of the text, I can reflect back and go, well, there was a part of my life, and I can see it allows me to weigh the differences of 20 years ago and now. So I see the chat going by, and I'm going to try not to look at it at the moment because I really want to get this out. So I love you all, and I'll get with you in a minute. Blessings to every one of you here. So the idea, though, that salvation, though, is within us. If we go, I've known some people that went to their grave at holding secrets and holding things in and I just, my heart goes out to them even after all this time, and that I hope that they found peace. I know that when my granny went, Grandma Raleigh, Miss Mary, that she passed right on. I mean, I have no doubt about that woman. She just went. And there are several other people that I've known that have died with grace and honor, in my opinion. but there was no religion that was attached to it. A particular person I'm thinking of, and not to speak ill of the dead, but I won't say who it is, but very close in. And, she took things to the grave that it's like, that just wasn't necessary. And I've wondered from the other side, did that weigh her spirit down for her transition into the next realm? But the salvation comes with, even when Jesus was dying on the cross, and he looks over the one guy and he goes, and the guy says, "What do I have to do?" And he's asked for salvation, and you can enter the kingdom of heaven with me. And the other guy's he's they're tied to a cross. What's he got? What have they got to lose? Is my point. And and they're chatting there while they're hanging on the cross, like hey, pass me a hamburger. But man, that wine sure is strong. Don't poke me with that spear. Um, but so they're hanging around, and the one's like, yeah, phooey, and the other one's like, take me with you. So whatever whatever we have done, if we ask for forgiveness, even at the last moment, but our heart's got to be into it. It's got to be 100.1%. It has to be over the top. It can't be just, well, I'm pretty much nah. And that's one of the things that I learned about, if you will, my own salvation is that I believed it, but not all the way. There was just a little bit of hesitation, a little bit of reservation, a little bit of something. And I'm like, I believe, I think, but no, 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 no. You got to say, I believe 100.1%. And you have to stay there, because no matter what anybody else says or whatever, if they say, well, are you a Christian? Depends on your point of view. Are you a Buddhist? Depends on your point of view. I'm not a Muslim, although there are some things that I believe that would probably go along with the Muslim tradition. But am I a Hindu? No, but I've studied and I've read through the Bhagavad Gita and these other texts, and I've studied about it. And I understand that there are other religions who quote their gods, although Buddha didn't want to be a god. Neither did Jesus, by the way. He didn't want folks to, worship him in that way. He came into cities and met people, and he greeted them with, peace be unto you, my brothers and sisters. And I can't think of a better greeting than that, peace be unto you. So it's like, but anyway, so the salvation part, and it was sort of like really hit me hard yesterday and especially today about the idea of this salvation. Now, what are we being? Let's kind of break this down. What are we being saved from? Okay, well, it's the devil. Okay, I mean that's usually it's some kind of evil, wicked, mean, and bad, and nasty entity, right? They want to scare the crap out of us so that we will believe in the light and believe in this God who was hung on a cross if you're Christian, and Buddha, on the other hand, he just kind of just melted, so they say. But I can see where that transition could actually sort of transpire. He found enough wisdom where he just poofed into the next dimension. Not necessarily, I don't know if I would say ascended, but he figured a way to get into the fourth, and people were looking around going, where the hell did he go? But anyway, so with that being said, though, the salvation, though, the guy is dying on the cross beside Jesus, right? He's got a choice, 50-50. He decides no. So, if you believe in that, the idea, though, that it doesn't really matter. If in your heart, regardless of the suffering or the pain, or if it's just like, I was listening to some preacher early one morning several years ago, and he said something about, the spirit of Jesus is with you. And I was like, that I get that for some reason. I've always had this feeling of the Mother Mary thing, my connection with that. And but I hadn't necessarily felt like, I was with Jesus. Mary connection, okay, from the Catholic point of view. And I know it's more than that for those of you who want to poo-poo me about the Mother Mary thing. But anyway, it's a personal thing, having nothing really to do with Catholic. But the idea, though, that I was like, well, wait a minute. So accept Jesus into your heart. And I was like, well, I honestly never thought that I was good enough, quite frankly. Even though my sins are a whole lot less than a lot of other people, killing, maiming, murdering, cheating, being greedy, no, that, but have I done some things wrong? Yeah. I'd peddled drugs and other people wanted them, but, did I kill anybody? God, I hope not. But the idea, though, that I helped sustain another person's drug problem, although those folks were feeding me my drug problem. So, one could say, if it weren't, if he didn't and I didn't, then neither one of us could have had the drugs and we might have had a different life. Who knows? But to the point, though, anything that I did, a lot of it was indirectly, and I can see where I dropped a pebble somewhere, and the ripple effect could have been fairly severe in that I have no idea what happened further down the line. Understanding that now and going, holy crap, who knows how far down that pebble I dropped, thinking it's nothing in the grand scheme of things, how far those ripples actually go. So I say to myself, I'm sorry for all my past deeds and for any ripple effect that I may have had. I cannot change it now, but I can change the now and the next moment and from this point forward. So the prayer is, our salvation is saying, anything that we have done, I wish to change, and I renounce, and I'm guilty for whatever it is I've done. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not necessarily going to talk about every little thing, but that's not the point. You're not going to run from the truth. You're not going to hide it. If it comes up, you go, yeah, I did really do that. Yeah, it was a long time ago, but yeah, I really did do that. Yeah, I was the son of a bitch and I shouldn't have been like that. But it's over. But what we can, ooh, that mosquito just got eaten by a spider. That was quick. Anyway, yeah, spiders, that's one reason why you stay around. But the idea, though, that in salvation, so, is Jesus the way? Is Buddha the way? Is Hinduism the way? Is any group or cult or way of thinking the way? Any way is a good way as long as you do no harm. That's the one law that fits anything. If you ascribe to the rule of law of do no harm. Now, I killed some ants earlier tonight, but they're trying to move back in the house because winter's coming. And I'm sorry, but I smacked a couple of mosquitoes that was eating on my leg. But they were biting me, so I consider that fair game. I didn't go out looking for things to kill, but I have to protect my own, if you will. If an elephant was trying to beat down my house, I'd have to start a fight, do something to scare him away. Ants are much smaller than elephants, but they're just as strong per size wise. It's not stronger, and they're fast too. But anyway, in our salvation, though, so how do we make up our mind in our hearts? How do we make up what our soul says? Well, if our soul says that, spiritually speaking, I want to do more for other people. I want to be more of a service and somehow do something or whatever. And I was told by some who I considered holy people, And one of them was Sister Helene, and she said, "You'd be surprised what the power of prayer can do." So if you can't do anything physically, then you meditate or pray on a situation. So regardless of how the war is doing for salvation, and it's not anybody else's fault if we can't save ourselves. Now, a tornado can come along and take me in the house and toss me, 500 feet in the air, and I might not make it out of that. Okay. But what I can do is have my soul ready if a tornado does come and get me. And I've had two go over the house. So, they say three's the charm. I don't know. I'm not wishing for it, mind you, but just saying. But the idea, though, that salvation comes from within each of us, as Scripture says, as Revelation states when the angel comes to John and John's down on his hands and knees and he's bowed, and the angel says twice to him in two separate times, he said, "Get up, because you are as I am." We are made in the image and likeness of God. Now, if you read the Bible and listen and read through Revelations, you'll find that there are elders that are hanging out in heaven. Now, I've often wondered who these elders were that were hanging out in heaven. Okay. You're going to, sit with Jesus and all this and the elders and God. Well, hang on. Wait. I just thought there was like this from the Catholic religion or the Christian religion. There's only one dude and he's sitting on a throne. Well, what's with all the ancients? What's with all the elders? What? You know what I'm saying? So there are hints in the Bible and in through the text that there's more to the heaven thing than what they're just. But here's the bottom line. Do we have to know exactly what's going on up there or out there? No, what we need to do, we need to make sure of what's going on in here, in each one of us, and how we treat other people on this planet. If we stand up for something and they shoot us for it, maybe that's it. Maybe that is our soul journey. Maybe we're not supposed to go, oh, well, no, I'll kiss your boot just to stay alive. Maybe you're supposed to take a bullet. But then on the other side of the coin, you could fake it and go, yeah, I'll kiss your boot. And inside you're thinking, Lord, I'm going to do this, but I hope I still love you. And they haven't really changed my heart. But I got to preserve myself to see why. It may be that you lie to them, but know what's in your heart. So at the same time, it may be that by doing so, lying to the deceivers, that you can help somebody else along, from the inside. So, but at the same point, it may be that, we need to become a martyr if that's what the situation arises, because change my mind, stick a gun in my head. I went to the store tonight and all over the store, the Dollar General was the red signs. Wear a mask, on each one of the doors in the freezer section, cooler section. And only one or two people had a mask. Now I had a bandana and I pulled it up, but everybody's stayed a distance. But there was only, out of all the people in the store, a couple of people had a mask. And in the other store I went to, only the people working in the store had a mask on. And that makes sense because there's so many other folk coming in and out all the time. But, I'm like, well, so people were wearing masks more before they put the red signs up. Just interesting point of view. But anyway, but in this salvation of us, so we can read text, we can ask for the Creator, there are, one could say there are many gods, I look at it like this. There are creators and then there's source. There are gods who may create a solar system and kind of have a, overview and go, well, that's not working out good. Or maybe they create a solar system. But it's all from the source. Okay. It's not from some kind of other thing. Anyway, so I look at the gods, if you will, not source or the creator, the one, as being managers or CEOs or over a district. Okay. You're given the resources and the materials, and let's see how you do. Now, I don't necessarily think it's on a profit basis, although that I think that's one of the things that's gone wrong in some of these places where Earth used to just, it was the Stone Age. And, even though, um, ET has been visiting us for a million years or more, we have to understand that, there is no missing link. We are the missing link. This thing that we're descended from, apes. At one time, I could see the parallels, but as I went on, now I believe in an evolution. All right. But it takes, it takes 100 monkeys, to learn how to wash off their food or how to crack a coconut on a rock or something. Birds, certain birds will use a stick to pick ants or termites or whatever out of trees and things, so, and I've noticed that birds around here have started using plastic bags to make their nest with. And I'm thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. Well, it's if sunlight hits a plastic bag within 2 years, it's gone. But at the same point, plastic bags acts as a really good insulation and keeps the rain out. And I was like, well, maybe these birds ain't so stupid after all, that they put plastic bags in with their nest building. Helps hold them together. And, in a couple of years, it turns to a powder and they don't have to worry about it. But at the same point, it's in their nest and the youngins. But I've seen some nests and it doesn't look like, I think somehow they know, don't eat this. But salvation. So if Jesus was to come in on a cloud tomorrow, and we believe it, that it's like really him, it would still be up to us whether or not to believe him, believe in what he says, are we going to follow, or are we going to give up? Are we going to be 90% about it and go, well, like in James, I think it was, where the rich man comes up and says, Jesus, I've given property to these people and this, that, and I feed my workers and my slaves real good. And what do I do to follow you? And Jesus said, give it all up. And the man was like, but I got all these houses and property and, I feed my slaves really good. And Jesus was like, no, that just ain't going to work, and because the bottom line is we can't take anything with us, nothing. So the only thing, and regardless of what era you live in, the salvation comes when you understand it has nothing to do with your physical accumulation of stuff. And right now, I'm still trying to figure out how to get rid of some of this stuff I've collected over the last 40 odd years. And people give me things, and here, maybe you could use this. And now I got stuff. I'm like, anyway. But at some point where I was like, well, let me save this. I'll be able to use this someday. Now it's like, holy crap, I've been saving this and I never used it. And so there's a lesson there, but only mackerel, what a mess I made myself. But the realization, my salvation is that if somebody comes and says, well, I've been looking for something like that, take it. Here you go. Let me help you load it on your truck, or open your trunk. I'll put it in. Somebody was here the other day and I had something and I was like, here, I'll help you put it in your truck. and they were grateful. And I hope that that his daughters can use what was given. But anyway, so the idea that our salvation, though, comes in the realization of, wait a minute, now I know unless I live to be 100 and let's see, 8 and 8 is 16, 116, um, I'm past halfway in my lifespan, which is okay. I've come to grips with that. But you know, I'm not wishing to like head out tomorrow or check out tomorrow. But in all the stuff that I have, you know, loose ends here at my house and whatever, you know, worrying about that isn't going to do me any good when I go, because I'm going to be on the other side. So the best thing I can do for my own salvation, take care of what I can, but at the same time, and not to be selfish, because I'm doing these videos and it is a part of me that I share and have these discussions. And I'm going to get to the chat here in a minute. But in that, what is more important? Is it the scripture? Is it the knowing? Is it the bottom line is whether or not we believe, and whether or not we believe 100.1% that we are already angels and that we're going to go back to that. And you can say, well, what about all the other stuff? We are angels and we're going to go back to that. And it depends on how cloudy you want your feathers to be, maybe. So our frequency matters. So, but from this point forward, and any point in time that we choose, you know what? I said I was going to do better and I backslid. I'm not going to go back over it and okay, I realized I need more strength. Maybe I need some outside help, but I promise I'm still trying. Now, the other thing is if you're breaking your promise because you lack the willpower, then if you lack the willpower, then that's the times you ask for strength. So the willpower to not be ugly to somebody because they triggered you, and to hold your temper or hold your this, or to don't overdo anything, you know, and you take time to reflect, because no matter who's in the room with you, when it's your time to go, it's your ticket that gets punched. Now, maybe there's a group of you that goes at the same time, but to the point though, car accident, you know, but to the point though, that what matters the most is whether or not you personally are ready. And none of us can answer that. And no book, no Christian, no, you know, holy thingy, whatever is going to do a damn thing for us if we don't already have it set in our hearts. And so I think what the Catholics were talking about as purgatory is not necessarily you got to wait there until, you know, Jesus comes in the second, this, because that's basically what they teach. I believe purgatory is for those who have passed over that didn't have a clue. So they got to wander around a little bit, and they got to have some outside help to put them back in the kiddie pool, because they're going to be scared and out. But for those of us who, do I have a clue what's on the other side? Not really. Do I know that it exists? Yes. Do I know? I just know in my heart. So I have the faith that regardless of what happens to me, as long as I continue to try to do good, I continue to try to put each foot forward, and it doesn't matter how fast we're moving, but as long as we're moving in the right direction. So you could be standing in the middle of the red road and doing circles, but as long as you know that if you look back and see your own tracks, that's not where you need to go. If you see your own tracks, then just turn 180 around and go the other direction. So you always know where you've been, and that if your spirit and your soul and your mentality and your energy and your focus, blah, 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 if you're in the right direction, then you'll be able to look around and go, damn, I've been walking in circles for a while. But at some point, I see tracks that lead up to the circle where I started going around. I'm still on the red road, You know, I'm not over here doing evil and bad and wicked, nasty things, but I seem to be just wandering around. But so as we wander around in the circle, we first, you know, if you're lost, first you find out where you come from. Where did I come? How did I get to this point on the path? Which direction? Where are my footprints? So we go, okay, there's my footprints. And then you turn around and you look the other way and you go, then I need to go this way. Or at least not back that way. Unless there's a big pile of alligators and you got to sidetrack them or something, but separate, separate sort of kind of issue. But if you think anybody or any entity is going to save you, if you think any God or any spirit is going to save you, you've got the wrong idea of what being saved is, because we have to save ourselves. Nobody can do it for us. We can kneel and pray and ask God forgiveness every single day. But if that's all we do is ask for forgiveness, then we obviously haven't accepted it. We haven't forgiven ourselves. We must think we're still guilty. Otherwise, we wouldn't keep asking for the same damn forgiveness each and every day. As a Catholic, oh my God, I was being, well, kneel down and pray your sins, you know, ask God for forgiveness. Mea culpa, mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Holy Jiminy, Christmas, you know, stop it, will you? This is a sin, and that's a sin, and this is a sin, and that's a sin. Well, then the priest who's bitching at the congregation for not putting in enough money, he's a greedy SOB, even within the church, you know. Which there were those pastors who wouldn't let you out of the church unless there was enough in the collection plate, you know. It's just as bad as a darn Baptist and some of them, anyway. But the idea, though, that salvation is within our reach all the time. It's our choice. I need to forgive myself. If there are people we have wronged and we know it and we can go back. I did all these things years ago. And I went back to the people I could and asked for their forgiveness. And they were like, what for? And I was like, if I said that I'm sorry for however I've treated you or whatever, would you forgive me? And if not, I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry anyway, whether you forgive me or not. But I had to tell them and get it out of my system. I embarrassed a couple of people, but I was like, no, you're going to hear me out. Well, that was 20 years ago. Don't care. I've been holding this in my heart, and I want to make sure you know that I'm through with this, and this is what it was, and now I'm done with it. Now those things don't bother me, the dreams, the whatever, because I was holding the guilt in me all the years. Now, if there's nobody that you can go back to say I'm sorry to or have forgiveness or, you know, then just ask the universe and say, I'm truly sorry. And I know I'm not going to do this again because of that lesson. And I pray that if I can help anybody in any situation in this, you know, so you ask if there's something not necessarily for a karma base, but to help raise your vibration. So it's one thing to be sorry, but then it's another to work in an area. I don't know. I used to holler a good deal and scream and cuss at people. And then I realized that, oh my God, you can't be like this. Well, I grew up on a carnival where every second or third word was a cuss word. And you'd be surprised. I mean, drunken sailors could learn a thing or two from a carny as far as cursing and anyway, but you know, it's a whole fluid language. But anyway, and man, it took me a long time to get that out of me. That rowdy, roustabout, belligerent kind of almost attitude, and you know, well, who the F do you think some big, you know. But the idea, though, that we have to, it was my own choice and to make that change in my behavior. And people noticed it. They were like, wow, you're not, you know, 10 years ago, people said you were like this, and you're not like that at all. Yeah, I know. And I was like that, and I was guilty, and they were right. But I'm not like that at all. So give me a chance. And I had a lot of enemies I didn't know I had because of me and my big mouth. And I realized that after I changed that behavior and met some of these people 5, 10 years later, they were like, "You're still the same Dave, but you really have changed." Wow, wow, good, good job. And I'm like, cheers, right? So our salvation comes when we make the decision to say, "I'm sorry," to say, "I'm going to make a change within my own self and person and whatever it is. And I'm just going to work towards the good side. And if I backslide, I want my guardian angel or my spirit guide to kick me, pull my ear, slap me upside the head, whatever, to get my attention so I don't do this monkey business no more. I don't want nothing else to do with this." Now, I know some folks are like online gaming, gambling, card games, poker, whatever, and they get away from it and then they get sucked right back into it. And it's like, it's not bad in and of itself, but when you spend days and weeks and months and you get nothing accomplished, it's not that it's bad, it's just that it ain't good. It's sucking your energy and your mind, and you could be doing something else that's really, really, really good for you spiritually. It just could be going out more in nature. It could be finding somebody that you play chess with on a personal basis, or I don't know, maybe you get a family together and you all play parcheesi or something. It's anything but this self-absorption focused into a camera or a video screen or something like that. So we can save ourselves. We have the power. It's always within us. It's not like we have to go out and search anywhere. We already got it. We got it already. But it's understanding it and having the faith. And it's not about ego. And it's like, well, I'm just like God. I can say I've got salvation in me. Yes. And that makes us godlike. But I can't control what you do or the next person does. I can't save you. But we can have these chats and say, hey, look, we all have this within us. And if I can save you, it's by showing, telling you, and giving you stories and examples that each of us have this within us. And that's the salvation. It's not whether or not I'm connected to a group or the angels or whatever. It boils down to common sense of the universe saying, hang on now, dadgummit. You mean it is as easy as that? We can go and do penance and there now, up to a point, there were some things I realized I had to do. I had to give some penance for some of the hurt that I caused. That was me personally. But in becoming a shaman, and the things that I was learning, I had to do this ceremony to get rid of this particular item, and to bleed, to hurt, to pain, to burn, to whatever I had to do for myself, to forgive myself, to prove to the universe I am really, 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 really sorry. I mean it. So it doesn't mean that you got to slash your wrist and bleed and all, but to the point of there are times when blood must be had, and it's a prick of the finger. Usually you slip with a knife while you're doing something and there's blood and you go, oh, there's my sacrifice. And you add it to the sage and whatever you're doing on the stones or whatever. But most of the time, if there's blood required, you skin your knuckle and it'll start bleeding. You go, what the hell? And the sacrifice will get its blood. And I don't mean by the gallon. It only takes a drop for it too, because it serves your in how dadgum intent you really are. Now, I'm not saying that this is what each of you should do, but in those circumstances for me that I felt it was necessary, then that's what I did. But like I said, it was usually a skint knuckle or something. I did cut myself one time. Don't cut your palm like you see in the movies. That shit hurts and it don't heal well in your hand. Don't ever do that. Pick a finger or pick a spot someplace else that'll heal quick. But anyway, and it doesn't require a lot of blood. It takes one drop. So doing the and that's your intent. So, but anyway, all this other kind of rigmarole, and you got to have a cup full of this anyway. And again, like I say, not saying you should give blood, but for me and the shaman medicine thing ceremony I was doing, it was necessary. There was a time that I had to brand myself with a piece of, with fire, and I still have it on my hand. And it didn't burn, it didn't burn, it didn't burn until the ceremony was over. And then if I lit a lighter, I could feel the heat on the back of my hand. But it was, for me in that ceremony, it was my commitment. And when I say that I made my commitment, this is the sign that I give. I don't have to, it's just a scar on the back of my hand. But I know through the pain, and that if you pray into the pain, that it doesn't hurt. I have walked across hot coals, but it was sort of a hot coal situation. I didn't know I was going to have to do the burning until it happened. It was a very strange, like, you want me to do what? Well, how much faith do you have? I got a lot of faith. Then do it. And then I was like, wow, okay. You can't pay attention because then it'll hurt. You have to understand that, oh my God, it doesn't hurt. And because whatever spirit, whatever is surrounding you at the time, you know, it's not there. But boy, you talk about the next day and later on that afternoon. But to the point, as bad as this, my hand was burned, it never blistered. It never got, it hurt for a few days, and that was that. And just left a little white scar. So in my own salvation, I know that certain things exist because either through ceremony or life experience or whatever, I have seen or felt or at least understand maybe more than some other folk who've not had any type of experience. So again, I say this does not make me a better person. It just means I'm older, and I've just been on this journey my entire life, and I still understand that as much as I know, there are still things that will, you know, sink into me even more, that I'll understand, you know, the cosmos somehow at just a even greater degree. And I'll go, wow, I thought that was cool before, but wow, you know, here we go again. And I'm not even taking any LSD or mushrooms. Holy crap. Wow. The universe and the wow, you know? So, but my salvation, our salvation does come from within, and with the help of the spirits and creator. Yes, I will not deny that. But as far as can creator save you? No. No. No entity can save us except ourselves. Now, I've had my guardian angel step in and shake me up and save me in the respect that, listen, you're going to really die and it's not going to be nice. And you're going to have to come back and do this shit over. Are you paying attention, Hawkeye? Maybe not. Thought I was, but wasn't. And I'm sort of referring to the incident on the river those 3 days, that this is my sort of my anniversary because it happened in August. So every August I have this little bit of remembrance, you know, of what it was like to be down in the swamp for 3 days with 100-degree temperatures. And that was the temperature. It was 101 and 103. It was horrible. But anyway, the idea that I walked with the spirits, that the spirits protected me, And that's when they said, Bubba, you really got to believe. You're almost there, but you're not trusting yourself. And you're not, And so I was like, wow, I've had all these incidents, but I'm still not picking up on these little nuances, if you will, within my own self. So, but I'm the only one who can say enough's enough. Now, if my leg's broke, I can send Bob the builder, and I have. I've had my knee operated on 3 times. I've got a scar the whole length of my femur, and I was in a cast for over a year back in high school. So I do understand about this, but at the same time, where folks think I would have been in a wheelchair or a walker or some kind of device at my age, I'm doing better with my knee than I have in a long time. Now, I can't walk a long distance, but I can walk, but without assistance. Now, I have canes and walking sticks, and I know better that if I'm going to go on a walk, take a walking stick. It just helps. But it's not just for my leg or my knee. But the thing is though, that where others would have given in at by the time they reached 68 and allowed the arthritis to get in there. Well, I don't know, my knee, it was broken and it was this and I still, yeah, it was broken, but screw it. I still want to go for a walk with a dog. Screw it. I still want to go do this. I still want to get in and out of my kayak. I still want to do these things. No, hell no. It's not as bad as it was when I was younger. I made it through that. So anything that it throws at me now, I got this. But it's the faith. It's whether or not it's a positive attitude. Well, I did break my leg. Well, it really was nasty. I did have to have all these operations. I did have to do all these things. But at the end of it, it was my choice to whether or not I could walk or run or, there are a lot of things I can't do because of my knee. But at the same time, there are a lot of people who say, well, I didn't know you had that kind of an accident. One leg shorter than the other, almost by a half an inch. And nobody knows that they don't see me limp because I've learned how to even out and walk on the ball of my left foot and flat foot on with the right. So nobody knows. Now, if I walk too long, it hurts my back, my leg, and so that's why long distances, and hiking 10 miles is not what I do nowadays. But give me a mile or so and I can handle that, take a good rest and back. But, long hikes and hiking the Appalachian Trail, that's out for me. But it's okay. I can take short walks. I can still go do things. But it's the faith I have in my own ability. It's the faith I have in the universe to say, I got this. Now, I might have to exercise if I've been sitting too long, like for the last few days. It's been hard for me to be awake. I think my avatar was someplace else. But anyway, but today it's been like, no, I got to make up for, being down for a day or two, I got to exercise. I got to walk around the dang yard. Man, my shoulder hurts and I ain't done shit. What, no, it's sore because of inactivity. Oh, my shoulder hurts and, I'm not going to move. Oh, no. My shoulder hurts. The first thing I think of is, God, I got to get this soreness out, man. Whew, I don't know what I did, but man, I got to fix this. So your attitude and how you think is your salvation. It's not the physical therapist. It's not the spiritual therapist. You can go to a priest or a nun or you can hang out with me and I'll just tell you like it is. We got it already. But we have to keep ego out of it, which is an interesting thing. We have to be strong enough to go, yep. If anything, let me put it in a way they say, when Jesus walked into a place and they were doing the palms and everything, he was just, peace be to you, my brothers and sisters. Peace be unto you, my brothers and sisters. So what he thought of and what his intent was to bring peace unto his brothers and sisters. And he taught and gave sermons on the mount and discussed things, but he didn't ask people to give him money. He didn't ask, he said, help your neighbor, do this, do that, don't, it ain't about me. I'm here to teach you about these things that you need to be doing for as you to do for your fellow. Excuse me. Bob, we thank you. Here's a little bit of coffee. I haven't said hi to Bob yet. So how much time? Oh my God, I've been at this an hour. Okay, I'm going to check the chat. Wow, there are 14, 15 folks in here. Blessings, everybody. When I get on these little thingies, you know me, I gotta keep going. They want me to say a certain amount of stuff, and I gotta fulfill my. Thank you, Candy Apple, Teresa. Hi, Project Sky Falls. Yeah, snakes in the um, Teresa says she didn't get the notification. I did the notification about 10 minutes well, actually it was 20 minutes before I actually got on. I couldn't find something. Fox Rodriguez, how are you? Try asking in prayer for your angel's name. Fox, I realized at one time, and I was into that about what's your name to my spirit guide and all that kind of thing. And I realized now, at least for me, it didn't matter what their name was, because in one instance it was said you can't pronounce it, and I went, okay, if not to say you shouldn't ask, okay, I want to make that perfectly clear, but if you don't get a name, don't fret it. People say, well, I tried to find out the name of my angel, and there are a lot of names floating around, and what's most important is not the name of your guardian or spirit guide or whatever. It's, are you sure that voice is the same one? Are you sure that that feeling that you're getting? Now, it's always on my left side. Now, there's been times when I can hear like 2 or 3 entities talking up there, having a conversation, but then whatever comes to me is always the same voice. Now, sometimes it has the perfume or the scent or essence of another being, but most of the time it's my spirit guide, it's my higher self that's connected, sort of like a police scanner, if you will. Not the same, but like. But anyway, I tried to get a name, and what I realized was sometimes my spirit guide years ago had to take a break. I got another spirit guide, so the name I had for the one wasn't the one. But and later on, I had to reestablish a good phone line connection, if you will. But I don't know. I can just tell it isn't about a name. It just, my point is, don't get tied up in a spirit's name or your guardian's name, because it may change, and you might go, well, wait a minute, but is the message the strong? Is it still with a good intent? So, but anyway, I went that way and couldn't get an answer. And I was like, oh, they don't want to talk to me. And it was like, would you shut up, Hawkeye? It there could be 2 or 3 of us out here. Sometimes they want, they have to take a vacation from your silly ass. Who, me? Yeah, you, Hawkeye. You're such a pain in the ass. We had to give this guy a year's break because you're such a dutz. But anyway. Candy app. I just want to, not that you're wrong, Fox, but anyway, ask in a prayer, but at the same time, don't get confused over just a name. Robert V's gone. Johan dancing, Gypsy. I'm having technical difficulties. Um, the first moment your consciousness entered your soul and you asked yourself, how did I get here? Remember? Good one, Johan. Let me see, going back up. Summon 88. Sorry, David, there is no theory of evolution. It's only a theory, and even Darwin converted back to Christianity, including he acknowledged the existence of a higher intelligence, a creator. I agree. I agree in evolution in that plants can evolve, but I do not agree that we evolved from apes. Okay. So apes have evolved within apes, and mankind has evolved from men. But I'm Summons 888. If you must have misunderstood me, because I do not believe that we came from apes in that type of evolution. All things evolve. Spiritually, we evolve, but I did not evolve from a monkey or from anything else. I have evolved from another human being down through the races, but in that, and I'm still trying to evolve as a spiritual person and whatever, but um, Chloe says it's now required that all employees and all customers wear a mask while in our store. Yeah. But yeah, so I wished I had seen that earlier about the evolution. So, planets evolve, solar systems evolve. I do believe in that type of evolution. But as far as us descended from an ape, nah, not there. And hi, Michelle. There are some folks now. I was, if you don't believe in the Son of God, then and this and that and the other thing, and I'm like, wait a minute, hang on. That's religion. So if there's only one way to heaven, as the Catholics consider it, and if you ain't a Catholic, you ain't going. It's a closed club, and that's what they believe. And I never could agree to that. I was like, no, no, no. God, if it's true, in his infinite wisdom and power, would not condemn a bunch of people simply because they didn't know about him. No, no. Oh, but in the Catholic, God will smite them or put them in purgatory, or he'll do something with them. And creator don't do that kind of stuff, Um, Source is neither male nor female. And there are a lot of folks who will say, well, it's the Son of Man, it's the Son of God, it's the Son of. Nyeh. You got nyeh. That's too, you're narrowed down to a religion. And if you still have that, well, it's a person, it's a something, then you're going to miss the point. Because there were, Joan of Arc, there were many women in history. They burned a bunch of them at the stake for being witches because they were telling the men, that they were wrong. But the idea, though, that, it's one man or this one thing, yeah, because we all have it in each of us. So if that's true, then no one entity. Now, to the point of source. Source is our collection. It's the gazillions of entities and energies and spirits that have come before and after and during and in the present that creates this source of energy. And so we are all a part of the source. And there could be many creators, as far as the creator of this universe or the creator of a galaxy far, far away. And you say, well, ain't it the same one? Well, it may be that, there are certain creators. Now, in the Bible, I brought this up before. God's sitting up in heaven with a bunch of elders or ancient ones. It depends on the Bible, but it's in the last few chapters of Revelations. So I've always wondered, who are these folks that are sitting around with God? And I'm considering, well, wait a minute, maybe, quote, God is necessarily a manager, okay, a CEO of this galaxy or that one or this one. And so, but each one of them as creators are a part of the source. And I know it was like, what are you talking about? There's so much in the universe and we're all connected and we only have this reference point. So somebody was saying in the chat I was watching that about Orion and this, that, and the other thing and the belt. Listen, Orion only looks like that from here, okay? If you're out of our solar system, Orion is not going to look like Orion, okay? It's going to look different because the position of the stars, the perspective is going to change. So there's all these folks who are like, well, the ancients, Orion this and Orion that, and the belt and all that. Listen, if you're over here in another part of our galaxy, you're not going to see Orion's belt like we do here. So this idea that Orion's belt and the Pleiades, that, from certain points of view, but you start moving away from that point of view, and Pleiades ain't going to look like Seven Sisters no more, but it still will be a star cluster. Orion will still be a constellation. There are still stuff going on there. That's not my point. But if people think that, well, if I'm over here, Orion's still going to look the same. Yet you gotta, that's thinking inside of a box. So you have to understand that what we look at is from our perspective. So, well, it's this and it's that, and we got this from our perspective. You got to put that in the proper perspective. Well, this is going to be in, not if you move over there. Well, what do you mean? Well, if I walk too far out into the yard or not far enough, the stars will be different from the height above the trees. So, which I need to do a planet wobble update. We're in a wobble right now, by the way. The moon changed position in less than 4 days. It moved like 15 degrees in 4 days, and it's been pretty stable. So we've had that big earthquake in North Carolina, South Carolina, over next to Virginia over there. Yeah. Anyway, so we're in an earth wobble at the moment where it has been fairly quiet. Just thought I'd throw that in there. But this idea, though, that well, it's like this. Well, it's like this from our perspective. So if you're from Pleiades, which supposedly I am, I'm not sure, but if that's true, then if I'm coming to look at Pleiades from this angle, it ain't going to look the same. I'm looking at it from here. So in our spiritual realm, we can only anticipate what we know from this point of view. So in the shaman experience, it's to experience just what if I lived up there somewhere? Would it still feel the same? Would my perspective be the same? And if you take, peyote or mushrooms or something like that, and you see these other realms, you go, oh, it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of, well, I stand on this mountain and it looks like that. But if I stand down in the valley, the scene changes. If I go over the top of this mountain and go down the other side, I don't have that vision. It's all a matter of perspective. But in our spiritual realm, our perspective, it is what humans are taught on this planet. And indigenous peoples are taught that they are connected with Mother Earth. Now, there's been some weird things that, cannibals and headhunters and all that kind of, but okay, but by and large, the peoples are usually pretty good. They're good to one another. It's individuals that get a little bonky, and so one guy got bonked in the head, and he becomes a berserker or something. But from our perspective spiritually, if we understand we all are, as a Christian, you would say Christ-like, but as just a person, I could say I have, because I've made my stand that I am with the Christ consciousness in that of helping and doing and whatever. But at the same time, Sister Helene told me back in 1970 that Jesus was a Buddhist, that he went and traveled eastward, where he disappeared for all that time, and nobody wants to tell you where he was, because, oh my God, they would just take Christianity and throw it down the toilet. But Jesus went to study Buddhism. He went to study the Eastern religions and came back to try to teach the Jews, you people are a bunch of idiots. There's another way here. And it turned into Christianity. But there are several theologians that I have met in the Catholic Church, who've been to the Vatican, who studied some of these things, sort of the inside things, is that Jesus was a Buddhist. So with that in mind, when I think of the Christ spirit, I think of walking in the best light you can. When you meet someone on the road, you say, peace be unto you, my brother and or sister, or, and that that in our hearts, where we travel, whether it's spiritually, mentally, on the internet, or in person, what is our intent? My intent is to try to, be nice or be good to somebody else, say thank you, be polite, be respectful to other people, honor other people. And if somebody's being a real dickhead about something, you try to ignore them, and you don't antagonize people, where I used to in the past. You use, shingakadita, you kill them with kindness. So, but the idea, though, that we may have to follow a man, no. If anything, we should follow women too. So much is about the goddess. Well, the goddess is, whoa, we're worshiping. No. My idea of this, if you have to worship anything, then you just haven't figured it out yet. Because to worship is to give up your own soul for something else. I don't have to give up my soul, because I know it already exists. And that if I allow it to exist with the energy from source and creator, then if I don't deviate from that, and I try to stick with it as much as possible, and then that's about the best I can do, whether in this reality or another. And there are people, please understand this. We're not going into fifth dimension right away. There are people who are, oh, the Earth's already in the fifth dimension, and this is this, and no, it ain't. You wouldn't be able to see it if it was in the fifth dimension, period, okay? We must go into fourth dimension. We want to go into fourth dimension. The planet cannot go before us, because we wouldn't exist. This idea that, oh, we're already in the fifth, and we're this, and we're that, and no, we ain't. When each of us on this planet can see orbs and spirits, then we've reached the bottom of the fourth. We must go through 4, 5, then 6. It comes in threes. Please, please get out of this thing that we're already going into fifth. No, we can't. It's physically impossible. We can't skip all them grades. So, from a spiritual standpoint, well, I'm already in the fifth and I could see this and that and the other thing. Well, okie dokie, but you're going to be surprised. And that's one of the things that my spirit guide, I mean, they jump up and down. Will you tell these people to stop saying this? Because it's not true. We will go into the fifth. That's true. Are we in it now? Is the planet there? Is up? No, because anybody who's ever really tripped on mushrooms has seen other dimensions, have been in other places, have possibly talked to God. But the idea, though, that until that's happening to everybody on the planet and we're seeing all these others, we ain't there yet. How do I know? We just ain't there yet. That's all. Look around. Well, but we're in the fifth one. People, they're lying to you. They're trying to give you false information because you're aspiring too high. It's like taking 2 steps up a ladder to get up a 3-story building. You've taken 2 steps and you go, and you look up and you go, well, I'm just going to take 1 more step and I'm going to reach the roof. I'll be on top of the ladder. If you can do that, you've achieved a lot. But 999 and 9/10% of us, we look up and go, that's going to be 1 rung at a time. We've got to climb this ladder. I can't skip rungs. If I'm going to get up there, I'm going to have to climb. And, so this idea that we can just start at the ground, meaning 3rd dimension, and somehow end up on the 2nd floor of a 3-story building, meaning that would, if the ground is 3rd dimension, 1st floor is 4th, 2nd floor, 5th dimension, and the roof or the 3rd floor is 6th dimension. We're not skipping. We're going to have to climb. We're going to have to get on the porch to get on the 4th dimension. We're going to have to climb up the stairs or go somewhere to get in the 5th dimension. This idea that we're simply going to jump is absurd, because in the universe of things, we have to take it in steps. It's just how it goes. We may understand things about the 5th dimension, but this idea we're just going to pop there, no. It's going to be gradual, otherwise it'd kill us all. We wouldn't be able to survive. So we have to be practical in some of these things. Will we get there? Can we? Yes, but this idea of us just, boom, we're going to be there. Nah. Now, I do believe that there is an energy coming in, but you know what? The aliens and them folks have been talking about this now for 3 years. And I have yet to actually see one. Now, back last summer, there was a time when we all felt a change. Couldn't put a finger on it, but something changed. Now, I do believe that the whole planet, at least, and if not the solar system, got hit by something cosmic, if you will. It changed a lot of our opinions, and just some of us, we just went, wow, crap. There were things that we saw in pictures, but all of a sudden they made a lot of sense to us. So, but anyway, but this idea that we're all just going to poof, here's the deal. There are some people who are just absolutely lovely people, but they ain't got a clue about 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th dimension. Them folks, their brains are going to pop, okay? They going to have to go into the kiddie end of the pool. We all going to have to wade in this. The folks that climb Mount Everest or these tall mountain peaks, they have to make a base camp. You got to go up to a certain height and you drag all your stuff with you, and and then you go up to the next level. Nothing, you can fall really quick, but you don't go up the ladder like that. So, and even the best climbers can get in trouble. So we can make mistakes along the way. So the best thing we can do is for our salvation is to do the best we can in here. Now, again, ego, we have to have enough self-confidence to believe that we can pull it off. And all you have to do is say, I believe, and do it. Well, if somebody comes and somebody look, I don't want to be tortured, but if you want me to believe in some kind of other deity or whatever, now in my mind, I go, well, sure, Shiva could have existed, not a problem. But do I believe that Shiva was the end be all and end all of all spirits, and we should all bow down and worship and draw blood and give sacrifice? No. But could Shiva have existed? Yeah, and very possibly did. But the idea, though, that I'm going to give my life to this entity, no. But if you say, well, would you believe that she exists? Okay, I could go that far without my core belief in a higher reality above and beyond Shiva or Buddha or Christ, to the eternal, to the source, to the creator of all things. So it's like, I could agree up to a point, but they're not going to tell me to stop believing. If they say, well, you got to stop what you're believing and only believe this, then I got to say, sorry, no. And I'm solid in it, So is that my salvation? We all have to find our own peace. That's our salvation. Let me throw this little 10 cent out to y'all. Now, yeah, no Catholics do not follow true Christian spiritualism. I agree with you, Teresa. That's why I got out of it. And I even asked Sister Helene, why are you still a Catholic? And she said, because I professed my faith to my God, not to the church. And she said, so I'm with my God, and it doesn't really matter. So, but how do I put this? Everybody's got a set of rules, or as Fox might put it, a set of blueprints. But if we just stop and realize that we are the blueprint, I can't tell you how to get there. We can have the conversation and go, well, you know what? When I feel like this and my spirit feels light and, and so forth, that's a good thing. And when something happens, my heart feels heavy and my energy is drawn down. Okay. Now, people like to put words to things, and I'm going to, Fox, please understand, I'm not picking on you. But so many people have used this blueprint for humanity and blueprint for the this and the blueprint for the that, when the blueprint is that we do the best we can. Now, some of us are involved. I don't mean me, but when I was in the auto industry, some of the things I worked on had millions and millions of dollars worth of if the machine didn't work, there were millions of losses or profits, or millions and millions and millions of dollars, especially over the course of years. So we can do things in a small way that affect a process or whatever. And having made a bunch of blueprints, thousands of blueprints, the idea, though, that the universe is like on this blueprint, it's more like a sketch. Because at any point in time, and this is where free will really manages to screw up things, is that we have the free will to, well, the line's supposed to go this way, and we got somebody goes, nah, I want a curved line right here. And you go, what? But the blueprint says, or somebody says, nah, screw it, I'm going to put in a curve, you know, or I'm going to put in a, ooh, on that, maybe a little bit of a, holy crap, what are you doing here? So there are too many variables. So the blueprint is more like an outline. The blueprint is more like a sketch. And because so much is changing every single second all over the universe. So if you get so, well, the blueprint of life, don't get so narrowed into a thing that everything is a straight line and a cross line. There are variables. There are all kinds of variables. And what the blueprint may call for may not be what happens on a particular day. So if you get in this mindset, well, the blueprint of life is like this, and then if it doesn't fit your blueprint, then you don't understand it, because now you turn something that is constantly molding and changing, sort of like an outline or something, or you're sketching something, you know. But once you paint it black and white with them lines, then it can't move. It can't alter. And some things are so rigid, they must be altered. And those who make the blueprint are the ones that want to blame us for maybe it's supposed to be a curved line and they want it to be a straight line. And the rest of us go, no, you know, if you make it a straight line, you're going to run into the sharks and fall off a cliff. But if you go around the mountain in a curved line versus, anyway, some type of metaphor. So just be careful in using words, because the blueprint for the universe, you know, the blueprint for the universe is constantly changing. So how can it be a blueprint? Because I used to make them blueprints. Well, you know, I was all the time having to make changes and addendums, and you got to write down at the bottom and show where the change was and this, that, and the other thing. So the blueprint for the universe has got a crap load of changes in it, because it's always being modified because of free will. So if we all followed the same pattern, well, then a blueprint could very well be like it. So anyway, that's my 10 cents about the blueprint. Or it's too much saying that it's got to be like this when maybe not necessarily. So it's an outline. You know, spider web blowing in the wind, right? The spider web, when it's still, has this beautiful outline. I ran into a couple of big banana spiders on the trail the other day. Humongous spiders. I mean, they're, you know, their bodies are like this long, and you know, you come face to face with them and you go, holy crap. But anyway, their webs are phenomenal, right? But the thing is though, as the wind blows, the spider web moves with the wind. So yes, it's a web. Yes, it's a pattern, but it also has this give and take to it. So in the universe, there is this blueprint, but it also has a chance to breathe, if you will. So anyway, they're hollering at me about this particular subject. It was something they wanted me to talk about back whenever. So Fox, if you're still there, I am not picking on you, but the idea of how people need to put things in boxes and stuff so that they can Amanda, hey, a lot of times I cannot write. Project Skyfall says it's like going out in nature. Sometimes you see light orbs, sometimes you do not. Yep. Sometimes, you know, I see snakes. Sometimes I find feathers. Sometimes, you know, and the thing is, it's not that they don't exist, but they're just not there at the time. Thank you, Fox. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't picking on you. So yeah, but when people bring up something that, they feel that needs clarification. And so there is a basic plan of the universe, but for every damned individual alien and you and me, when, we all thought 6 months ago everything was going to be hunky dory, and now we're still locked down, you know? What the hell? I thought we was going to be over this by now. And oh, and by the way, for those of you, Stargate fans, SG1 in season 9, about 5, 6 episode in have somewhere in there, they brought back a virus from another planet, and they went through the whole scenario of chasing down the virus. It went to different towns, then states, and then it ended up in Paris on a flight. And they had to lock down the whole United States. And they had to lock down this and the CDC. And I watched it here earlier today and went, oh my God. Now, was that a warning? But the way they did it on the show and the way it actually happened in real life was very much the same. And now that Stargate, it was I'm sorry, season 9, but still, that's a good many years ago. So when I saw the episode, I was like, now that was either planned or somebody had the foresight or somebody, but whatever the deal is, that what we're going through right now, in a way, this particular virus that they have is a whole lot worse. And only the Ori could come in and fix it. But anyway, I was, sort of not taken aback, but I was like, wow, they hit that one right on the nose, boy. So either somebody would watch that episode and say, hey, let's try this with the 19, and see what happens. Who knows? But anyway, science fiction and reality. I'm just saying. And I had never seen that episode to my knowledge either. But anyway, look, friends, it's been an hour and 30 something, 2 minutes. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Fox. Yeah, I think Stargate's really good too. And some of the science they talk about, also the different types of, well, I think to me, it gives us, Teresa says many sci-fi creators may have premonitions, and I know that I've written some stories that have kind of sort of come true from years ago, and I just think to myself, well, wait a minute, that was just the thought I had. Well, somebody else has those thoughts too, but anyway, and I think some of those sci-fi writers also have some really good advisors, science advisors and technical advisors. Yeah, muses live in truth, says Fox. Absolutely, I agree with you. Are they creating scripts for us? Michelle says, I missed 56 minutes. Oh, that's 11 equals 2. Anyway, you were doing 11s earlier, Michelle, I think. Well, listen, I'm going to get off of here. I just wanted to get on here and discuss this thing about salvation because, for those folks, and I've got a lot of family members, Jesus is the only way. And I'm like, well, he's not the only way, but if you don't believe in Jesus, then wait, hang on. Jesus wasn't like that. What do you mean? Jesus didn't get upset like that. He was like, either you do this or you don't. It's your choice. But, you want to get upset because I don't believe the same way you do in Jesus. Calm down. Seriously, calm down. Jesus wasn't like that if you read, but anyway. So, and the same thing with Buddha, But yeah, when I heard Sister Helene tell me in 1970 that Jesus was a Buddhist, I was like, "What are you?" And she was like, "Yeah." Where do you think he went? You know, and I was like, "I don't know. I've asked that question." She goes, "Well, well, you in the Catholic religion is, well, you must have faith. Well, Jesus, and he did, and he was doing the work of, and he was, yeah, but where'd he go? You know, he was gone a while. Then he come back and." Uh, but he traveled east. But don't say another word. You know, that's how they want you to be. So for your salvation and for your consideration, regardless of what planet, regardless of what dimension or realm, whether you're 3, 4, 5D, whatever, fifth, 10th, 12th, there is still the one universal law: do no harm. So if there's a race of people out there that are like the Klingon, and that all Klingons are bad, well, what about Worf? Well, meaning, Star Trek. But, the Ferengi, well, what about Quark on Deep Space Nine? Well, what about these guys? Or what about what about, well, all pygmies are bad. Well, all pygmies are headhunters. Well, wait a minute, all pygmies are cannibals. Well, that's not true. Well, wait a minute. Uh, what? What, dog? What? What? Come here, my Duggar. What's going on? Here's my Duggar here. Here's Duggar. Duggar. What's the matter, Duggar Doug? Huh? You got to go outside and do something? All right. Well, give me a minute. Let me say goodbye to everybody. When you got a dog, you gotta do the dog thing. But there are cats out there in the yard. He wants to go. Let me go put him out. I'll be right back. Y'all just stay there amongst yourselves. Come on, Duggar. Let me put you out. You gonna whine until I finish up. Stay in the yard. Taking care of business anyway. But this idea that I think that what Stargate and everything is a lot of what we should take is if when we get introduced to the aliens and when all this really does come out, many of us will have had the opportunity to go, well, that he looks like a Klingon, but I realize that all Klingons aren't bad. So we have to understand that just because something doesn't look the way we might want it to, I mean, for a lot of folks, if they understood that the Kurs, with a Kurs, that are insect-like beings and who can do sort of like shape-shifting, that they're actually the good guys, whereas some of these tall whites and some of these other ones may not be so benevolent. One would wonder, well, wait a minute, how can an insect or a bug have more compassion than sort of a human being kind of thing? So, there are a lot of levels to the universe, and people will, well, because they have no other choice, because we have been taught to think in particular ways and to see things as being in a box that you can think out of the box when you have to think, and I've been saying for a while that, if you want to go to heaven with the pearly gates, I'm sorry, but that's just another prison. I don't want to go to that heaven. That's another prison. Pearly gates, golden, blah, 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 or not. I'm not going to that gated community, because that means I can't go anywhere else. And that just seems limiting in in my frame of mind. So another gated community, another place where there's somebody on a throne that we've got to bow down and worship. And I just don't think the universe is about worship. And I've talked about this before. It's about adoration. I did not worship my grandmother, but I adored my grandmother. When you read the old text that before King James got a hold of the Bible, where, it says to worship the Lord, in the other version, it says to adore. And there's a lot of difference between worshiping and adoring. So, but if we are like the angels, and if the angel came and spoke to John twice and said, "Get up, you are like my I am," and if it says from the that we are created in the image and likeness of God, then why should we worship? That would mean you need to worship me, I need to worship you, and that's the wrong word. We honor each other. We respect each other. Honor, respect, adoration. I've talked about my adopted grandson, Big John. I adore the man. He helped save my life, and he works as an EMT and saves other people's lives on a daily basis. I adore the man for what he's done, but I don't worship him. But I adore the fact and honor him for what he does. And if we start understanding that, the whole universe is like that. If we adore and honor each other, and especially if we follow the one rule to do no harm. Now, in a war of things, sometimes you got to take the bad guy out. I mean, if there's somebody with a bazooka gonna blow up a school building, do you stand by and pray that it doesn't kill anybody or that all the kids are saved in the school? Or do you take out the guy with the bazooka? Sometimes you got to take out the guy with the bazooka. Just saying. Now, does it make it right? Well, he broke the law, was fixing to break the rule of doing harm to others. So in that, and boy, is it a moral one, but if I saw somebody trying to harm another, I would stop them, do the best that I could to stop them, even to the point of my own injury or death. But in that, do I have the right to take that other being's life? Well, if he's going to do what he's fixing to do, then, but does it make it right for me? If I, so even by stopping him, I know I have to knock him out or something, or wound him, maybe not kill him, but then I have to do harm. So there's things in the universe where sometimes we just have to say, sorry, but we can't allow this to happen. We have to stop this, even if it means doing harm. So there are those of us who, if I could talk if we can sit down and talk about this, it's not that I'm a wimp. I just don't see the point in bloodletting or killings or maimings or defacements or whatever, just to settle a point. But if somebody's going to harm another, well, then you're going to get whacked. I might not kill you, but I'm going to try my best to stop you. So in this universe of things, there are those entities who would wish to do harm. So I'm learning how to stand in the way of that and go, no, I'm sorry, but I don't think we should allow that to go on. No, I'm sorry. Let me speak up and say, wait a minute. Here's at least another point of view, whether or not it's the right point of view or not, but I'm listening to my spirits and they're telling me, let me bring this up to you and let me at least point it out to you. Your decision, your choice. It's the free will of the whole universe. And I mean, you think about it. If gazillions of beings are making their own individual choices and decisions all the time, you don't think Creator is crazier than a bedbug trying to listen to just listen to some of us for a little while. He's looking down going, holy crap. What are you damn humans doing down there? Are you crazy? You're doing it again. So there's got to be more than one quote overseer, if you will. But I do believe that we're all connected to the one source. And when we understand that we are a part of it and we make enlightened choices, you know, I'm not going to harm anybody unless, they got a bazooka. But at the same point, my intent is I want to save lives if I have to take one. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time to the universe. But at the same time, sometimes that has to happen. Now, mostly for those of us, we're going to stay on our path. We're going to do the best we can. We're going to honor one another. We're going to figure out and it doesn't matter how we fit per se, because you could spend your whole life trying to fit in somewhere and you be taken out by an accident or a heart attack or whatever. And all your earthly deeds, did you take time to save your own soul? Or was you worried about everything else and you forgot about your soul? So the things that you do in life can help to make, be the person, or, by doing good things or whatever, blah, blah. Or just by being a decent person. That's good enough. You don't have to do grandiose things. My grandma Raleigh, she didn't do grandiose things, but I know she passed on, and everybody that knew her loved her and respected her, and and a lot of children who swam in her swimming pool, Granny was keeping an eye out, and they all loved her after, even after she passed. They still talk about Grandma Raleigh. So I know in my heart that good exists without these super duper achievements, but saving one child, helping anybody along in her 70 odd years of living, all these people, she had affected them by giving them love and honor and caring and spending time with them and feeding them. And oh my God, Granny's, potato pancakes. Nobody made potato pancakes like Granny did. But anyway, so with that said, my friends, I want to just say, yes, thank you, Teresa. Truth in Me. Hi, how are you? Project Skyfalls. Man, I haven't managed to talk for almost another 30 minutes. Where is everyone? It's late. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, after 1. Night Duggar, let's see. No wonder I missed this. No notification. Yeah, I just went in and started out. But anyway, I'm very proud for all of you all's participation and that you hang out with me. I do. And I was meditating on it yesterday, and I thought to myself, I picked up another couple of subscribers, and I was like, the Goddess Mother Mary said, do this, and those who need to hear will hear, and those who need to understand will find, the resonance in what we discuss. And so I have to put my faith simply in that. And I look and there's another subscriber and I go, but it's a subject about such and such. Well, but somebody out there is looking for information and they thought it was enough to sub me. And I'm going, I thank you all. I'm humbled by it continuously. But it also gives me strength to say, maybe when they hit me in the head with subjects like salvation, that I bring this subject up to you and we have the discussion. Now, all I ask is that you consider it. If you think that Jesus is the only way, okie dokie, you could pick worse. But at the same time, if you think that Jesus is going to come and save you, you have to save yourself. And I would say read some more and quit listening to preachers and allow the word that he supposedly spoke to touch you. Because when you realize you are as he is, and that we are like the angels, and that we are made with the image and likeness of God, and our energies are, then you say, well, wait a minute, I'm almost there. Because if you realize these things and have faith in them, all of a sudden, a lot of other things just don't matter. So, my friends, thank you so much. I honestly do continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, all of your relations, and all of your relatives, past, present, and to come, will learn to accept and receive the knowledge and the healing and the wisdom from the universe. I continue to pray each and every day and meditate on this, that each and every one of you and your friends and your family and all of those folks you come in contact will learn to accept and receive the wisdom, the healing, and the knowledge from the universe. And in that law of three, I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you, your friends, your family, and all of the folks that you come in contact with, that you will be able to share, accept, and receive, and share the knowledge and the wisdom from the universe. And that you all will continue to learn to reject the chaos and the craziness that these weird folk are trying to put on us. So, with that said, Truth in Me, Michelle, Project Skyfalls, Teresa, as always, Michelle. Let's see, Fox, if you're still there, there's 11 in the thing with 14 likes. You guys are great, I swear. Thank you so much. Teresa, uh, Fox, if you're there, thank you. Hawkeye and Friends, sounds like a sitcom. There you go, Michelle. Talking about their television version of Jesus the Savior. Yeah. Um, Teresa, Project Sky Falls. Okay. I know there's somebody sitting in the background watching. It's okay. You don't have to chime in. We love you. Thank you for all. Amanda, thank you. I know there's other folks back there. Just want to let you know that you are loved, you are welcome. And if any of you ever feel like that you're alone, understand that you're part of this soul tribe. And we're all members of the League of Like-Minded Beings. Just remember, there's a lot of us out here. And I got to say that the drum and the candle um, thing I did the other night, meditation, energy, spiritually wise, whatever, it was sort of like my spirit guide said, good job, you know, and because I was really, 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 really worried about the drum. And Big Al, he sent me a nice thing and said that he really appreciated the drum. And thank you, Al. And I'm very, very cautious about doing drumming or something like that when I'm not in person with somebody else. But anyway, but see, I have to have faith. I'm continually asking, am I doing the right thing? Is this appropriate? Should I do this now? Or, so if y'all think that Hawkeye's got it easy over here, or that, I'm just skating through the day, a lot of different things that are going through my head and my being. And since all of you have participated, I understood that the Soul Tribe was there, but it sort of really made, I don't know, it made it a little bit more concrete. Does any of y'all that are still typing away that were here the other night? Thank you, Michelle. But we should do that weekly. Fox, do you mean the meditation? as a director and as an actor, you have to ask. And it's not because I need stars on the wall, it's because I need to know whether or not it was truly effective. That's what I need to know. And so, but several of you, I've spoken with and emailed, and I thank you. So, Project Skyfall says, I felt it closer to the universe. Okay, so maybe once a week or so that I will schedule it and we will all meet together and have this. But did so my hour focus was supposed to be, did you, I felt it then, but I'm still feeling it is sort of my um truth of me says that I felt connected to everything. Yeah. I don't know, just is something up here. I can tell because of my interaction with y'all through the chat and stuff, and some of you have spoken on the phone, so I can hear your voice. But it was like, um, now I can hear you all without hearing you, but I can hear you. In the great this here. It's a really strange. I'm telling you. I just yesterday I was just sitting around going, it's hard. I can't explain it. Heightened connections now with other tribe members. Fox says, yes, the meditation to me, it was flowing and resonant. Thank you. Okay. Now, this just gives me the strength to go, okay, let's try this again. So give me a few days and maybe we'll do it, same time next week kind of thing. And I mean this with the deepest respect. I don't do this for myself. I do it for you. So, but if I'm doing it and for you and you ain't getting nothing, you know what I mean? So it's important that I find out, does this do any good before I do another one? But at the same point, they tell me that it's my connection to the universe. It's my intent, whether or not you all participate or whether or not you all get anything out of it. It's nice that I know, though. I mean, is this working or not? Should we change something up? Should we do something slightly different? Or anyway, but so for my point, I'm very humbled by this, and I'll meditate. And if they want me to do another, then okay, we'll work on that. Truth of Me says, I have a yard stream. Maybe we can use that and then have a few people connecting in with drums and whatnot. Listen, y'all can drum on your own. Drumming is good for the heart and the spirit, yes. Project Skyfall says it was the highlight of my day. Teresa says, I would like to call you and share what others said. To me, Teresa, or to other people? But anyway, it's okay. Yeah. I'm willing to do it again, but as a shaman, there are times when a ceremony is needed or necessary, kind of sort of the same thing, but sometimes there are ceremonies that are needed but need to be withheld for other spiritual reasons. Like my drum was silent for a while, and there was sort of a thing that went out that there were entities who were trying to steal the spirit of the drum, and that I will not, my ceremonies, I refuse to have them hijacked. So I will refuse to drum if it means that there's, somebody going to try to hijack my stuff. So, but with that said, so I'm cautious in things because I don't want our prayers to be hijacked. But if it feels clear with them up there and it's clear with all y'all and it's clear with my meditation, we'll do another drum. You know what I mean? So, but there's a lot for me. There's a lot to consider. It's not just a drum and a stick. Oh no, if you're going to drum, then there needs to be a reason. Now, I mean that for over the internet, and I can sit here and drum myself. And there are some days I go to drum, and it's just like, no, you put it down. And I'm like, no, I want to drum, and they go, no, put it down. And and then there are times when I'm like not even thinking of drumming, and they will make me go find the drum and drum. So it works both ways, but when there are certain negative entities in times of the year and moons and things, we may thinking, oh, I'm just going to drum along here, but there might actually be another entity or entities that are trying to steal the big picture, if you will. So we have to be careful of that. And I know that in my own spirit guide, I mean, I go, where's my drum? Where's my drum? And they go, no, put it down. Well, what about my flute? And you go to play the flute, and every note's a sour note. No matter what you do, the flute won't play. And you just have to go, okay, not today. And I've talked with other flute players and other native drummers and folks like that, and they go, when the drum won't play or the flute won't play, whatever nature is saying they're saying not now. So understand it and don't try to force it. And there were times when I was like, well, my drum won't play. Well, I'm going to make it play anyway because I want to drum. And that's when ego steps in and says, well, I know what's good. I want to drum. And you're going to listen, damn it. And the universe is going to hear it. When sometimes it's just not appropriate. And that was a hard lesson. That's the lesson. It was a hard lesson for me. But now I understand, if it won't play, don't force it. And there are times when the flute wants to play almost like by itself, and you just take full advantage of it while you can, because it's clarity to the universe. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. Truth of Me says, oh, that makes some sense. Yeah, it's so different face to face. Yeah, and there's no particular rhyme or reason or full moon or whatever. It's just sometimes it's inappropriate, even when we want to. So, but that's in listening to your own spirit. And maybe your connection isn't right. Or maybe there's a connection near you can't see or feel. But for whatever the reason is, you give honor to it and go, okay, not right now. And the drum will tell you, come pick me up and let's play. And recently it's been like, come on, we need to go do a fire. But it's been raining, which we need. But there needs to be a fire and some drumming real soon down here. And but another candle meditation with some drum, we can handle that too. I'll try to get my flutes primed and ready, and try to add a little flute music to that. So, but anyway, my friends, I've already said the prayers, but I just want you to know that thank you, thank you, thank you. You are the reason I'm here. And I'm glad that whatever I do helps out. And our friendship means a lot to me. So thank you, Bob. Whee! And, they've already got Halloween stuff in the local dollar store. And it's not even September yet. So I guess they want us to scare the shit out of each other before too long and focus on something else. If everybody can have a mask on, then that'll be okay. But then are all the children going to go trick-or-treating, or will the candy be sanitized enough? I mean, what's going to happen for Halloween? We're all going to do Halloween virtually. Here, I got to piece the candy and it looks like a lighter. Pretend it's a big sucker, Happy Halloween. I don't know. More craziness to come, my friends. Thank you, Cosmic Hugs. Be safe, be kind, keep it between the ditches. Truth in Me, Michelle, Fox, thank you so much for participation, Project Sky Falls. Amanda, I know you're hiding back there, and some other folks too. Blessings to you all. Thank you. Cheers. Still haven't heard anything from Dante, but the woo-woo messages from the upside is that there is a lot of stuff going on. Thank you, Project Sky Falls. Come buy our stuff and then lock everyone inside. Nice. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Till next time, my friends. Be safe. And maybe Saturday night again about the same time. Okay. I know you're mostly signed, Amanda. It's okay. So if was Saturday fairly convenient for y'all? It kind of seemed like okie dokie, and maybe with a little bit more if other folks know, and and I do it again, and we make Sunday nights at or Saturday nights at 12, or Sunday morning at 12 or whatever. But anyway, so we can have it earlier or later or whatever, but that just seemed appropriate at the time. So thank you, everybody, Michelle, and all y'all. So till next time, this is Hawkeye Two Feathers saying TTFN, keep it between the ditches. And remember, as long as you're still on the red road. Amanda says it's 7:30 a.m. here. Oh, now? Oh, that's right. Right. Thank you, Truth to Me. Okay, TTFN. Check. Nick Befaris for Dante. Yep. Okay, thank you, Fox. All right, till next time, everybody. Ween.